Hey, thanks for checking out the video. If you all like it, please like and subscribe, and hope you all enjoy it. Have a great rest of the day.
Hey y'all, hope you all are having a good day today. Just checking in here. I figured that I was going to do a video. I thought that it would be a great idea to do a video on Paul Revere's famous ride. I felt that it was actually really important part of American history. And I'd like to give a little information on Paul himself, and just a little a little bit of a backstory and just a little bit of basic information. As you all may or may not know, the ride took place on April 18th of 1775. Starting in Boston, and went from there. But anyways, I'm just going to get a little bit of information on it. Anyways, Paul Revere, interestingly enough, was a silversmith, industrialist, I guess, and a supposed a propagandist and a patriot that was immortalized by the Henry Woodworth Longfellow poem. Yeah. That described Paul Revere's famous midnight ride to warn the colonists about an impending British attack, along with several other writers that included William Dawes. Anyways, Paul was able to give the local militia a key advantage during the Battle of Lexington and Concord, which then sparked the Revolutionary War, as you all can imagine. As I said, it played a very, very important part in this whole matter. Of course, it led to the eventual American Revolution, independence, or like our independence and all that sorts. So that being said, Paul Revere was born in the North End neighborhood of Boston, Massachusetts, at the end of 1734, to a French father who coincidentally ran a silversmith shop, and a mother from the local area as well. Anyways, Paul was fairly educated, as you may be able to imagine. In reading and writing and in school, before he ended up completing his training as an apprentice for his father, who was, as I mentioned, a silversmith as well. Coincidentally. Anyways, at the age of 19, Paul inherited the business upon his father's death, father's unfortunate death, but he decided to leave the business for a short time and enlist in the Provisional Army in 1756, which was during the French and Indian War. So as Paul was settling into his Boston home in the 1770s, he ended up becoming pretty active in politics at that point. For those that may or may not know, he responded to the new laws about tea imports that bypassed some of Boston's merchants and stuff by attending a few meetings with people who planned the Boston Tea Party. As you may know, people like Sam Adams and others who were involved in that. So Paul joined others who were involved and proceeded to dump the wonderful tea from the British East Indian Company on December 16th of 1773 into the Boston harbor. His activism ended up going far beyond Boston, as looking back on it now, went far beyond Boston. When Paul began to work as a carrier and rode from Boston to New York on a horse to spread the information about the colonies. When his associates found out that the British were sending troops out to the Boston area and a plan to arrest some of the revolutionary leaders, such as Samuel Adams and John Hancock in Lexington, Massachusetts, Revere was put in charge of informing them, to avoid arrests. So then he proceeded to use his signal system and had two lanterns placed on the Old North Church steeple in Boston to alert those on the harbor that the British troops had left Boston and were crossing the Charles River at that point. So, sorry, I'm trying to refer to my notes here. But then at approximately 10 p.m. on April 18th, as mentioned before, Paul then set out in the dark from his house in North Boston by horseback with another rider named William Dowes, as I mentioned earlier, to reach Sam Adams and John Hancock. Paul and Dowes met Adams and Hancock in Lexington, and then allowed the revolutionaries to avoid arrest. So Revere's next stop that night was a lot of writing involved in all this, as you are starting to catch the hint on. Was Concord, Massachusetts, which was a hotbed for the resistance and the suspected location of a second British attack. But unfortunately, Paul and Dowes were captured, but another writer named Samuel Prescott was also captured by the British en route, I think. But only Prescott reached Concord, though. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. That part I'm a little iffy on, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But anyways, Revere was soon released, but thankfully he had already helped give the Patriot militia a very big key advantage by giving them the heads up to the impending attack by the British. So the Battle of Lexington and Concord would then spark the Revolutionary War. So here's a question that I'm gonna end all of this on a note, something that I've that's been I'm hearing all kinds, I've seen all kinds of things, how people go on and say, what was Paul Revere saying? Did he ever say the British are coming and all that stuff? Just as kind of as a trivial thing. If you all want to put your all guesses in the comments, by all means. As far as like what he actually did say, I'd kind of like to get some input from you all as far as what you all think he did say or didn't say. Because that is a pretty interesting topic from what I've seen, and there's always people commenting on that. So if you all have input, definitely include it. But anyways, if you all liked this video, please like and subscribe, and share it with your friends and stuff. And hope you all have a great rest of the day, and talk to you all soon.